right. This is our first viewer comments with 3 peeps on it.
Whoa.
I'm glad that you guys
It's
are
happening.
Thank you for joining me.
I know, absolutely. It's cool. And Kanye is not one of us.
That's true. There was like a little point where I was like determined to use Kanye in every single thumbnail that we did a viewer comments section on.
And there was enough viewer backlash and negativity that we decided against it. So thank you. We do listen to your viewer comments, and we sometimes even comment on the viewer comments, as we're about to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have both of you here that have been in multiple videos with individual comments on each. So like, let's dive into it.
This is one of my favorites. Actually, not favorite. It's just the one comment that just stood out from the video that we made on Amazing Spider-Man 300, sold for $30. That video. Gomez, comic collector, nails it.
Oh, is this when you talked about your TMNT that you sold?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I had asked you about the TMNT #1 sale that you made, the first print, and you alluded to it being.
I didn't. I said I wouldn't say
Yeah,
how much.
You didn't say how much it was
because it hurt so bad.
Hold on, before you say that, have you heard about this story beyond us?
John told me the story. Yeah, and if John Hill tells the story, but it was one of those like, no, I'm dead serious. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, he's livid for the last 12 years.
Yeah, no, he's been pissed about it because he wasn't the one who bought it.
Yeah, he
for
wanted it.
that price,
and I wouldn't sell it to him.
So someone made a comment.
So Gomez, comic collector, said, "The look on his face, he must have sold it for $60." and you, sir, read my face clearly and precisely. And that was it. That's why it hurt so much. And at the time I didn't care.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was the price.
He nailed it. I read it. I'm like,
are you sure that's not the guy that bought it from you?
No, I know for sure. But it was crazy that he just nailed it in the head. That's why I figured I'll say I really don't care. So
no, hey, honesty, right? That's what the people. Our community knows us for being, having high integrity standards and being ethical, and honesty. That's where it comes in. You sold it for $60.
Yeah,
I bet you'll never do that again.
Nope. Moving on.
Well, we do have as some of you know, Tom and I do the Hot 10 list from CBSI Comics, comicbookinvest.com. We do this every single Friday, and we get a lot of comments on those lists, and one that we do consistently get from quite a few people, this one was echoed in the most recent one by Anthony Vigliotti, and he says, love the show. At times it seems rushed. Is there any way we can be longer than 15 minutes, or is it an editing thing? Tom and I have talked about this. I know Luis and Tom have talked about this. Ryan is probably, all of us have kind of mentioned about it, and long would be fun. Freeform would be fun. I know that Luis and I would be totally fine going for hours and hours and hours, but with the videos, there's just this kind of target demographic that we're hitting, and most people have very short attention spans, and they really only going to watch for about 8 to 10 minutes. So even 15 is kind of stretching it farther than we want to. And if we want to do longer form, we'd have to do something on SoundCloud or iTunes. And now some of our stuff is getting released there, but not the long form. And I think in the future, we may have to do a little bit more.
Yeah, it's probably going to have to be something separate, like a different show.
It's all about the format. If you're doing audio only, 1 hour plus is fine. Because you listen to your working, you're
on the
bagging
commute
comics
or whatever.
Yeah. That's how I listen to every single podcast that I listen to. Is hour plus.
Yeah.
And like I listen to Joe Rogan, I'm actually depressed when it's less than 3 hours. So, but I could not sit there and watch a video for 3 hours, and that's why we do it the way we do it.
And I sure as hell can't edit one that's 3 hours long.
No,
you don't, which is what I do at GTFO Podcast. I just record. That's what you get.
There you go.
10 to 15 minutes is kind of like you get the attention span. People sit down. They can take the time to watch that one, but it's a little bit tougher because there is stuff going up. With a Hot 10 list, you have that comic, and you kind of want to see visually what it is. So, yes, it is very much an editing thing. We are planning on doing something a little bit more long form, although it may not be on YouTube. Watch this space.
Moving on to our most recent honorable mentions video. We were talking about CBSI. We do that honorable mentions video as well. We have Huey's Comics saying, My father-in-law gave me a short box full of 4-color comics, as well as a Batman 98 and a Brave and the Bold 34. First Silver Age Hawkman and Hawkgirl. His friends were just going to throw them away.
Oh my God.
I want to just,
Wow.
I want to highlight that comment because how many times, because we've all purchased collections from multiple people. We all have stories of collection finds. How many times do you hear the story of, I used to own that, but it blank.
Mm-hmm.
It got thrown away. I had to sell. This horrible thing happened, and
My
now
mom threw them out. That's 50% of the people that I've talked to.
Oh, easily. Yeah. Yeah. A massive amount of people like that.
Yeah.
So well done, Huey, for being there, taking care of those comics, and preventing them from going in the trash.
On that same ASM number 300 for $30 video, Darks 1D3RZ. I just bought 7 long boxes for $70. Way to go, you.
Whoa, that's really cheap.
And got Batman Adventures 12.
Nice.
Yeah. Sold it for $300. He speaks of good karma, which we spoke of on that episode. And there are other comments on that regard. And it's always good. Just always pass it on. Just be good to people, man. Just be kind.
No, that comic book karma. I feel like we may have coined a phrase with that because I'm hearing that in the community more and more because we mention it because it's just an accurate word to describe it. Yeah. But when you experience it, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a stigma around this, and I know that people come into my shop now and they expect me to be a slimy asshole with no integrity. And I get that. And I know that there's kind of this like, I'm going to try and rip you off. And that's really... The one thing that I've learned that I can never repurchase in this business is my integrity.
Yeah.
And if I lose my integrity, I'm going to lose my business. And there are dealers, there are comic book, there are magic card dealers, there are sports card dealers all around the country that we know are less than scrupulous people. And you get burned once or twice and you're not going to deal with them anymore. But those of us who are in it for the long haul, we're going to do as many people as possible. And that's because we want to spread the comic book karma. And it does come back tenfold. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Just passing on collections to people or even just sharing your knowledge. It's a great way to be able to spread that comic book karma around.
Absolutely.
That's very well put.
We did have one in our honorable mentions video, and this is by James Waite, and he says, nothing Golden Age, but I've recently made a couple horror comic purchases. Tomb of Dracula 25, the first Hannibal King, and Werewolf by Night 13, the first Topaz. Great list and looking forward to more. Now, these horror comics, especially since we're coming up into October, there's a lot of these horror comics. You're going to start seeing these things moving. There's also rumor of a Blade movie that should be coming out sometime soon. We talked a little bit about Wesley Snipes is in negotiation, as much as I dislike him being Blade. But we are going to see more of these Blade and potential Werewolf by Night and Dracula, Tomb of Dracula books spiking. Yeah.
There hasn't really been any major movement in the Werewolf by Night run.
Other than Moon Knight.
Other than Moon Knight.
Right.
But we also haven't seen much of Moon Knight either. So we have a lot of potential for characters in that run. Moon Knight's just, that's just a character waiting to pop. Everyone.
Number 32 is $1,000 book with no movie and nothing going on.
Respect.
It's amazing. The Lemire run was great. The Warren Ellis run was great. I mean, they're really good for new stories, but I'm going to pay $1,000 for a guy that doesn't have a movie or a TV show?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's crazy, but
it's just good.
It is
just really good. And like Tomb of Dracula, Tomb of Dracula is awesome, but Werewolf by Night, man, I love that run.
Yeah, that early Plug art is really, really cool. Yeah.
I love viewer comments. And I especially love them when I got my homies here and we got the comic book fam. And I really would love to hear any other comic book stories, any hunting successes in the comment section below so we can read them, so we can talk about them on the mic.
I really appreciate all the comments on our relationship and how cool it is to see us both doing this thing that we love.
Or just in our element, just them kind of just peeping into our lives.
Yeah, and it's weird because this is just our life. I don't even think about it.
That's the funniest thing because, Luis and Tom, this is totally you guys. Even off the mic, you would totally be the same way.
We're on the phone all the time. But it's cool. And it's awesome to see how people appreciate that and connect with that. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the kind comments and keep watching.
yeah, it helps keeps us going, helps motivate us to come on in here and make more content for the comic book fam. We do appreciate your time. And as always,
Geek
responsibly.
enough said. Thanks so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget, tomorrow we have our Hot 10 list that comes out. So you want to make sure to go to last week's video, links right there, and comment, like, subscribe so you can be entered into the giveaway.